everybody, and welcome to the second episode of the TruthBomb show. It's me, Jen Hall, and today I'm talking about being a purple cow on steroids, how to do that well, what the hell that is, and how being different can either make you money or stunt your sales. So I'm just going to do the usual thing of just double checking that I've actually gone live inside of the group. Is a test one because that's where I live. Perfect, it's looking good, it's looking like I'm live, so I'm looking forward to a few of you jumping on, which will be fab. I'm just going to check the sound is actually working, so give me 2 seconds. I'm not sure it has, which is concerning. Let's have a look. Nope, it is, perfect, that was a random. There we go, sound is working, so that's great. Okay, so I'm in. If you would like to join in with the chat, make sure that you join me in the comments inside of my group, Unrivaled Experts, because I'm not monitoring chat anywhere else. So I'm really looking forward to talking to you about this today because it's something that I specialize in. So it's something that is really important to me, standing out in the market and positioning yourself as the best possible solution for your ideal clients. And this is really important because I like this kind of client-centric approach, because where being different can go seriously wrong is when people focus so much on being different. And particularly in, I guess, the consultancy, coaching, online space, there is so much saturation, there's so much visible saturation because, as I said before, probably in the last episode, every market is saturated. But it becomes more apparent when we come onto the online space and we start looking at all the other people out there and we start getting a huge amount of comparisonitis, and we can really start to kind of go in on ourselves because we look at what else is out there and it's scary. And so sometimes it can become the immediate focus of how am I going to stand out amongst the crowd? There's so many people out here. How can I be different? And unless you work out how being different can actually help you make money and actually help you to attract the right people, it can go awfully wrong. And I've seen so many people over the years come into the online space and focus so much on visibility, focus so much on putting on a show. And yes, they get engagement. Yes, they get people watching their stuff and they get followers. But the problem is they don't necessarily turn that engagement into sales. And so that's what I really wanted to talk about today, was around how you can actually make sales from being different. Because I really do believe that there is a very big difference between a USP and standing out. So, let me explain to you what I believe the difference is to be. So a USP, so a unique selling point or a unique selling proposition. There are 3 words within that collection of words there. There's unique, there's selling point, right? And it's the selling point that people miss off. And so when we look at a point of difference, or to being able to stand out, that gets you attention. Those are the things, and what Jay Baer, and if you haven't heard of this guy, you need to look him up, he's amazing, talks about talk triggers. And I'll give you an example of one of the talk triggers that he speaks about. And actually, let's use Jay Baer as the example. When I heard him speak at Upreneur in November last year, he said there, why do you think I wear this suit? And he kind of wears this kind of like Rupert Bear style checkered suit. And he wears it on purpose, and I think he's even got something, I can't remember what it is, but in his fly, he's actually got something written inside of it, which a lot of people say, oh, can I see? And he has to undo his fly for people to see, and it becomes a talk trigger. Hey, I'm talking about it now, right? So it becomes something that gets you attention. People share, people spread the news about what you do. I mean, it just so happens that Jay Baer specializes in helping businesses create talk triggers, and he also uses other brilliant examples of, say, I think I'm trying to remember what the burger shop's called. I can't remember what it's called, but I do know through his story what he's talking about. And I'm sure if I spoke to anyone in the US, and if we have any US viewers, please pop it in the comments if this makes any sense to you. But he was telling us about this burger joint who, once you've ordered, would lay out this deck of cards. And if you picked, I think it was the Joker, and I will laugh if the burger place is called Joker's, because then that would make sense, right? I'm not sure. But if you pick the Joker, you'd get your entire meal for free, whether that be just your meal or everybody's that you bought on the same kind of like bill, you would get the whole meal entirely free. And this starts off a huge sharing, talking frenzy. Like, people love going there, people love picking the cards. I don't know whether, I'm sure the food's great, but that's kind of the gimmick that gets people going, gets people talking about things. But again, that's really about attention. And what I want to say is, attention can get you more sales. Absolutely. And I'm not saying that that's, this is the Truth Bomb show, right? I'm not saying that that's a lie, okay? It does. It will get you more sales if, and there's a big if, there's a big but in this. The problem comes when people just focus on this without focusing on their unique value proposition. If you start focusing on being different and figuring out talk triggers before you even have something that you have proven that people want, then nobody's going to buy from you. You're just going to be somebody who people really enjoy watching, listening to, joining, engaging with, which again is great, and that can boost your sales. But this is the thing, it's about boosting your sales. You have to have a product, package, service that people truly want to buy. And this is where it can go seriously wrong, because you focus so much on the unique side of it, you forget that actually there's also a selling point that needs to be focused on as well. And this gets missed off. And so do people are like, okay, well, I'm going to call myself this crazy name. I'm not going to be a coach. I'm not going to be a coach. I'm going to change it to some magical, glittery unicorn of amazingness that brings sparkle to your business. What does that mean? And now, obviously, I'm taking that to the extreme here, but we can all, I'm sure, think of or have come across some crazy examples of titles that people have given themselves, and when they go to stand up and perhaps in a networking meeting, they've stood up to explain what they do, and you either get the really dull ones, or the person, it kind of gets to them, they're like, oh, I don't want to be the one that's dull, I want to stand out. And so they come up with something highly ambiguous, highly airy-fairy, to make it sound more grandeur than perhaps it is. But or perhaps maybe it's not even grandeur, maybe that is what you give people. But at the same time, it's also a bit like, okay, so that's what you give people, fine, but what is that? Is that something that people are going to listen to? Because what are they actually going to pay for? And that's the part that you need to get right first and foremost. The difference, the kind of USP. So we've talked about kind of talk triggers and getting attention, how that can boost your sales, absolutely, if you get that right. And I don't suggest you stop thinking about those ideas. But before you can boost sales, you have to get sales in the first place. And so we have to think about, what are you delivering out there? And why would somebody buy from you? The piece of the puzzle that I love to give people is what I call the unique magic bullet. So it's the thing that people will buy from you over everybody else out there doing the same thing. Because I started out in this business coaching arena as what I used to be referred to as the niching queen, right? I used to be excellent at helping you find your niche. And I say I used to be, I still am. But I kind of moved forward from that now. I could, that's still very much a focus and very much a part of what I do. But it's only one part of differentiating yourself in the market, because people think, okay, create your own kind of blue ocean, create your own corner in the world, then nobody can touch you, you're incomparable. But you've got to be careful, you're not creating a fake corner, you're not creating that unicorn corner that doesn't actually exist. It has become so ambiguous that people don't get what you do. But you find when you step back in slightly, where you become clearer, people understand what you do, that's you start to feel like, but I'm still the same as everybody else. I still don't feel different. And then we use this thing of, well, you're you, of course you're different, you're you, you are your USP. Now, I am going to call absolute bull on that. I'm just going to go and check out one of the comments that we've got going on in here, just making sure that, here we go. Sophia says, that's in your book, right? The Magic Bullet. Do you know what, Sophia? That is, and there will be an update, and there'll be a new edition of Expert Unrivaled, the book. I'm going to be rewriting a new edition of that, because these are things I really want to add in that were kind of the missing pages, as it were, from the book. So stay tuned for that, and thanks so much for joining me, because that will definitely go in the book. But I am going to call absolute bull on your USP being you, because yes, it's kind of an obvious given, right? And when you're going, I don't know what my USP is, and someone says it's you, you breathe for a second, you're like, oh, thank God, I've got a USP, finally, it's fine. But it's not fine, because you soon move forward, and you being you isn't enough. And this is where the truth comes to the table, because people will say, you know, well, how dare you say that you are not enough? But you are not enough in its entirety as a USP. It becomes part of that cocktail mixture as to why someone might want to buy from you. But it's not the only reason, because just because people like you doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to buy from you. And I'll even go as far as to say that people don't have to like you to buy from you. I've had a lot of people on calls who have said, you know what, I wasn't sure about your style to begin with, but you really know what you're talking about, and you really know how to help people, and I've seen the results that you've gotten. Therefore, I'm kind of trusting in the process. And hey, you know what? When you get me on the phone, I'm actually all right, guys. I'm not the ruling with the iron fist. I'm not Cersei, as the guys in the back there call me. I'm not horrible, I promise. But there has been a few people like that, and so I really don't believe that people have to like you in order to buy from you. I think, again, you help is kind of, if anything, more in the standing out zone versus your unique selling point. People do buy emotionally first, and obviously your emotional connection that you give out and that you have with other people will absolutely make a huge difference, because when people have that emotional connection, and not necessarily just to you, it could be the emotional connection they have to what you're describing, to the future state that your ideal client is going to get into. It also might be the way you describe their current situation that hits home so well that they really feel like that trust is built because you know what they're going through. So there could be emotional connections built in many different ways. And do people truly know you through video? This is one of the best ways of people to get to know you, understand your style, see you, build trust, absolutely. But do you really know? Going from, this will be touched upon probably in a few of the TruthBomb episodes, but I've seen so many people do amazingly well on lives and get a lot of engagement and make sales off the back of it, but then on the back end, they're not delivering. So how well do you know the people that you're watching? Okay, so this is the thing, is that there will always be a level of skepticism, and you as a USP, it helps you become unique, but as a selling point, I would say not so much. For me, your unique selling point is around how you help someone get to their results and why your way is perfect for them. Okay, so I'll just repeat that. I feel like a USP is about how you get your ideal clients results and why that's the best way for them, and that they can only, I'm adding something on now, they can only get that from you. They can't get it anywhere else. And do you know how you build that? It's through building a realization moment, an epiphany moment, when they suddenly go, okay, right, now I understand why all the other ways I've tried haven't worked. Because it's likely that your ideal client would have tried things before that didn't work out for them, whether that be on their own, but they may have already invested in certain items, things, people, products to try and help them get further along the line, but they've just not worked for them. And so they need a newer solution. They need something that makes sense to them as to why it's not worked for them so far, and why this time, why your way of doing things will help them. And that is about creating that USP. So I really don't believe that. I think that the USP absolutely can be hinted at, teased at from the forefront. But before you even mention that USP, you have to be dangling that golden juicy carrot. You have to be showing somebody something that they want first and foremost before they're going to even listen to why you're different. So always focus on that first and foremost. Unique value proposition first, USP second. Once you get your unique value proposition set up, that's when everything else will become clear, and that's when you can start focusing on your point of differentiation. And just remember, there are two different types. You've got your USP, or unique magic bullet as I call it, and then you've got your kind of your talk triggers, the things that help you stand out, your visibility, the attention that you get doing things that other people aren't doing. Something that Helen Packham, the amazing Helen Packham, talks about is when everyone's going, I can't remember which way around it is, but when everyone's going right, you go left. So all of those things will absolutely help you to stand out, help you to gain a following, help you to gain engagement, and to people to keep up with what you're putting out there, absolutely. But you do have to think about what you're offering people first and foremost. What do they want? And then you can start boosting those sales. And just don't forget about the selling point, because people don't want you to be different. They just want to get the results. That's really it. And when you have a choice in front of them, they want to obviously know that they're working with the right person, that they trust that person, that you're credible. And when you help people to realize that kind of epiphany moment why it hasn't worked for them, and now how your way, the Jen way, the Debbie way, whatever, of doing things actually helps them to achieve their goal, and that they can only get that from you, that's when they will start to trust you, because they start to think like, okay, fine, it makes you more credible. So yes, you have to build trust, you have to build credibility, and you have to build an emotional connection, whether that's just people liking you, whether it's to do with you connecting with them because you're saying the right things, all of that has to work as well. But then you have to go, okay, so what is the logical reason? And sometimes this is a bit that people miss off. People say people buy emotionally. Yes, they buy emotionally first, but in order to seal the deal, they need to have a logical reason so they can justify it to themselves and the people around them. So when they go back to, to their partner and they say, I've just put down this huge amount of money with this person, well, why? They have a clear, logical reason that they can justify, not that, well, I just really like them. That you need to have solid outcomes, solid results, solid reasoning, and a great moment of realization where they truly believe. And this is also a great moment where they fully commit to your coaching and your methods, because when they get that breakthrough, when they get that realization as to why it's not worked before and how your method will help them, they're fully committed, they're 100% in with the way you do things, and it makes for a beautiful partnership, because that's what this is. When we work in a service-based industry, it's always a partnership, and this is how it can help people move forward. So don't settle on your unique selling point being you. Spend time figuring out your unique value proposition, and then spend time figuring out how your way is the best way for your ideal client, because that's going to help you position yourself as the best in the industry. So I'm just going to go and double check to make sure I haven't got any questions. Feel free to pop some questions underneath. I will get back to you, and I need to apologise last week. So a few of you may have commented, but I've been on holiday. You probably can't even tell. I am slightly tanned, I promise. I'm kind of biscuity, as I would say. This is tanned for me. So I've been on holiday, so I'm catching up on all of my social media. So please do comment. Let me know your thoughts on what's been talked about today in the Truth Bomb show. Tell me if you agree, if you disagree. I'd love to get into a juicy chat with you. So just comment away in the comments below the video, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. It's been fab speaking to you all today, and I will speak to you all soon. Take care. Bye bye.